What's up, guys? Welcome to the day 17 recap. This video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to go through and break down my approaches rather than just doing the infield updates where I'm kind of sporadic and don't really know what I'm saying. I'm a little bit nervous of doing this kind of video. I've never done this before. Part of pushing the comfort zone boundaries, just getting comfortable doing things that you've never done before, just like approach. So let's get into it. It's hammer time. So yesterday, pretty solid day. Ended up doing 12 total approaches. Felt very good the last couple days. If you've been following the field reports or the videos, I've been meditating and I've been very focused on my energy, coming off as positive as I can. That is in my control. I do feel it's been helpful. I'm not in such a, I have a tendency to get very high when I'm doing very well, meeting new girls, getting good interactions. And then I have a tendency to get very low when I get blowouts and things don't happen for a few days. So I'm trying to ground myself, and that meditation's been helping. Just focusing on my energy, focusing on giving value has been helping. So I did notice some improvements yesterday. Ended up going out of the house around 8 p.m., a little bit later than usual because I was going to check out a night venue. So I got to CM Center, that's here in Bangkok. It's about 35-minute train ride. Just listening to some Owen Cook while I was doing that, just getting prepped. But it wasn't as busy as I was expecting. Still able to get some good sets though. The very first set I did. By the way, you can follow along on all this in the Substack. This is the new area where all my content's going to go. It looks very similar to the website. It's free, which is very good compared to what the website was costing me, and I think it looks great still. So you can follow along there. Link in the description. But I got inside very quickly. Saw a girl that was feminine walk. I couldn't see her face from, she was in front of me and she went into a restaurant. So I decided, I'm going to do this no matter what. First set, I want to get done. There's not a ton of people out. I still got to get 5 approaches in. Went in, she sat down. I just immediately opened, said, "Hey, excuse me, do you speak English?" Said, "Yes." "You look very nice." And her face lit up. And I personally wasn't that attracted to her. So I only said, "You look nice." And then I took off and just walked away. Good interaction. She was very accepting. I do feel a little bad that I just left right away, but maybe she just thought I was nervous, which would be perfect. But I do find that the girls in the restaurants are very receptive, especially if they're eating alone. Like they would love to talk to somebody, is it what I'm thinking. So did the first approach, warmed up pretty quick. Didn't really amount to anything. Wasn't that interested in her. The second girl I approached, I'll put a picture of her. She's in the thumbnail on the website. Probably doesn't look as hot as the thumbnail. That's AI. But she was skinny, wearing all black, heels, tight pants, like the kind of girl I never saw in the US hardly. But incredibly, just the kind of girl that I want to meet. Very intimidating to me. Couldn't see her face either, so I stopped her from the front, and she's much more attractive than I thought. Big blue eyes, big lips, the Russian lips. She's like half Thai, half Russian. Good stop. She seemed pretty receptive to start. Maybe she was just being very friendly. I don't really care. The whole point was that I just went for what I want. My mindset while I was doing these approaches today, more so than the other days, was I'm looking to meet girls that I want to see. Sometimes I get in the mindset of I'm just out here to do the approaches and go home. So kind of a different mindset today. And this was probably one of the hottest girls I've seen in weeks. So in the past, I definitely would have found ways to avoid it. Now, or at least yesterday, I was looking for reasons to approach, looking for girls that I would want to see. I'm not just settling for girls that are okay, but I'm just doing the approach. So gorgeous, just my type. Talked to her for a little bit. She was looking for some food. I went with her to get a smoothie. Did a little bit of chit chat. It wasn't really the best frame because I'm following her to where she's going. So that was one of the things. If for those of you who aren't really familiar with a lot of this stuff, or maybe brand new to it, I didn't want to be following her. It's not a very you're not really the leader. I'm following her to go get a smoothie, and I just met her. Probably could have just tried to stay and talk to her a little bit more, but I was very nervous. And she was looking for food. So it's like, okay, well, I'll just walk with you and see what happens. She gets her smoothie ordered. I'm kind of just fumbling stuff. I'm not being very flirty or seductive. Um, she said she's going to go do something and it was nice to meet you. So that was my cue to leave. I didn't want to hang in longer, but I did give her some good solid eye contact. I think she appreciated that. She gave me a little smirk. So not much came of it. Got her name. That's a win. Just it's a win just going in and talking to these hot girls. I do this consistently for a year. I get one of them. Is that worth it? Hell yeah. So pretty good interaction. Very hot girl. Glad I went in. Like I said, most girls like this I would avoid, especially if it was a nightclub environment. She said she's going to meet friends. She's been to the nightclub the last couple nights. It's her last night in Thailand. She's going to leave back tomorrow to Dubai. So there wasn't a lot to go on there. She was going to meet her friends. So there's just scenarios where it didn't seem like it would probably work out anyways. So just doing the approach is the win. I'm happy with that. Man, this video can take a while. I didn't realize that there's 12 of these. The third approach was a girl sitting at the food court. She was all by herself. She was on her phone. So what I did was I went in, I said, "Hey, do you speak English?" And then I said, "I didn't mean to interrupt you on your phone while you're scrolling Tinder or online shopping." And she laughed. She said she was on Facebook. So I teased her about being an old lady because only old people are on Facebook. She laughed at that. And then we got talking a little bit. She was sitting and I was standing. So it's fine to do this when you open a girl, but I didn't want to be hovering over her. So built a little bit of a banter back and forth. And then I said, "I'm going to go meet my friend. So I'll sit down for just a minute." And she said, "That's fine." So we talked a little bit. I know she had a suitcase. She's leaving to go to Phuket today to do some stuff for school. She had a suitcase with her. So there's really nothing I could do that night. So it's just kind of talking to her, seeing what she's up to, if we have any good chemistry, any good vibe. Got her number. Um, Probably not the most solid, but still a good approach. Like I said, I do find girls that are seated at restaurants to be very good to talk to. A lot of times they're just bored. She was just sitting on her phone. I gave her good energy. I thought she looked cute. Flirted with her a bit. Got to know her. I didn't just get her number and then leave. I sat, have a conversation, kind of figured out what she likes to do, what we would do together. And it went pretty well. She responded very positively. And then I sent a video from the club later that night, which I wasn't busy, and asked her how the bus ride was. Definitely not the typical way I would do it. I would approach. I'm trying to experiment. What's going to work best for me? Like just trying to figure it out firsthand rather than all these videos I've watched in the past. So wanted to try to build some banter to last night to see if I could transfer that into today. She hasn't responded. Keep posting stories. Maybe I'll ping her in a couple days, see what happens. I still got more work to do anyways, so not a big deal. But very solid interaction. 23 years old, student, going to Phuket to do some stuff for her school and then come back. Fun, flirty, teasing her about being an old lady on Facebook, teasing her for wearing Crocs. Fun, solid interaction. I was happy with it. So got her number. That's one contact detail. It started to die down. It was getting close to 9:30, almost 10. So kind of running out of options. Was walking around the BTS, saw a girl with a bread basket or like bread in a bag. Opened her, and her English was very good, and it threw me off. She had a very American vibe. So cute girl. Said she looked nice. She said thanks. Talked for a little bit. I was kind of flustered, down on my game. You can read all this. But the English threw me off and the vibe threw me off. So it's not really a blowout. It's more of a, I just wasn't interested. She probably wasn't interested. There you go. Next girl was walking, looking for somebody to talk to. She was on her way to find a bus. She didn't have much time. She gave me her Instagram. It was definitely a flake, but still a good fifth approach. I still showed intent. I still said she was cute. Still wanted to try to talk to her. Her English wasn't great. She was in a hurry. I was still a little in my head. Things happen. Right after that, girl was walking by, just kind of spaced out. Just looked like she was really doing nothing. Like she looked like a tourist, just kind of wandering around, checking out the sights. Stopped her, found out she was married right away. Nothing you could do there. So that was 6 approaches. Felt pretty good. Could have gone home for the night. And then I decided to go to the nightclub, Route 66. I will play some videos now, and you can watch that, and then I'll recap the approaches. Got to the club at around 11 p.m., maybe a little bit early, and it was very quiet to start, not a lot of things happening. So I was definitely in my head. It's also a club where there was no dance floor. It was all tables. So everybody that was in there was already in their group. They already knew people. There's a little table at the bar, but you're very isolated from everybody. It wasn't ideal. So I was very in my head to start the whole night. The music was good. I liked the music they were playing, but there was always a hype man like yelling some shit, and they would interrupt the song every 30 seconds, switch it up. So it wasn't like the best vibe or anything. So definitely in my head for a while, but I was not going to go home until it was at least midnight. I was going to get at least some approaches in. And I started to warm up as I went along. The first girl I opened, I saw her sitting on she was sitting at a couch by herself. I went to the bathroom. I saw her. I went to the bathroom. I was like, if she's there, I'll go talk to her. Opened her, asked if she was going to do some karaoke. There's some karaoke there. She was receptive, sat down, talked to her, tried to build some connection. But she kept talking about how she's depressed and she'll go home and cry. And she's been sad for the last 2 years. And she's at this place now, even though she doesn't like it, but she used to come here years ago and used to get very dressed up. And now she doesn't. And she kind of just sounds like she gave up on life. And me, I'm Enneagram, I'm a peacemaker, and I'm also I think it's adjacent to a helper. And I have the nice guy tendency. So I'm still trying to flirt with her, give her good energy, see where things go. But in reality, like, I would never want to date this girl. I watched a video from RSD Max many years ago about, you have 4 different types of girls. You have low self-esteem, low sex drive, low self-esteem, high sex drive, high self-esteem, low sex drive, high self-esteem, high sex drive. So would I want to be with a girl that's got low self-esteem like that? No, I felt drained listening to her talk about depression to a random stranger. Like, it was bumming me out. But I wanted to help her. Like, I don't want her to be depressed. I want her to be happy. I want to give good energy. But some people, they just don't want to feel that way. And I'm not there to give advice. I'm not her coach. I'm not her therapist. She probably doesn't want to hear what worked for me as a stranger. Like, I went through depression too. I understand the things that you focus on is how you're going to feel. But I didn't think it was my place to say anything. Talked to her for a little bit, and then I just got up and left. I saw her throughout the night. One time I was kind of just dancing around. She saw me. I smiled at her. And then I held out my hand, and she's like, don't touch me. So that's the life she wants to live. I hope she had a good night. But that was the 7th approach. Nothing crazy. The 8th approach, I was getting ready to leave the club. I was going to go check out another bar. I was feeling very stifled. Everybody had their little table. Not much going on. So I was going to go out to this other bar. There's a girl sitting outside on the couch by herself. So I walked past for a second. I was like, fuck this. I'm just going to do it. A lot of times that's what works for me, is saying, fuck this. I'm just going to do it and see what happens. And that's been working for me for at least the last couple months, especially these very intimidating girls. She was just sitting on the couch by herself, scrolling her phone. So I went in. Hey, do you speak English? If I was in the US, I wouldn't say that. I would just say, hey, I know this is random, but I thought you looked nice. Whereas here I have to ask, do you speak English? Try to get just a sense of where they're at and kind of just get them aware that I'm talking to them. So said, do you speak English? I said, I don't mean to interrupt your Tinder or your swiping. She didn't really get that. And then I was very direct. I said, I thought you looked very hot or you're very cute. I didn't say hot. I said, you look very cute. And then she was very receptive. She was sitting and I didn't want to hover again. So I made sure to sit down. And then I was being a lot more direct. I don't know if this was because it was the night game or because she was wearing a dress and she looked very hot. But then I started to show more intent. Things were going very well. Got her number, still sat and talked to her. She was waiting for her sister. So I should have just left it there. There was no way I was going to make anything happen because she was waiting for her sister. She's going out to go dancing at the club. There's really nowhere this is going to go. But I kept staying in. I kept pushing it a little too far. You can read about this. So over escalated. And then she said, it's nice to meet you. And I knew that was my cue to go. I knew that that was the end of it. I wasn't going to see her again. So that was disappointing. But I was just trying to push it. I wanted to see where the limit was. And I kind of, I see Owen Cook do these instant makeouts and stuff. It's like, oh, maybe there's a possibility of a makeout here. I don't know. So push that too far. Not going to see her. She didn't respond. But it was a good interaction. I showed intent. I was being flirty. I was not hiding that I'm a man, that I find her attractive. So definitely a good interaction. Number 8. So I'm already 3 more than typical days. And then I did my 9th approach. I was still just kind of wandering around. Inside was not the best. People are dancing, but they all know each other. And my social skills or my group social stuff is not where it's at, where I'd want it to be. So in my head a little bit. Went back outside, saw a girl with pinkish hair, some tattoos, very skinny, very cute, jewelry on. Pretty intimidating again. I walked past for a second. I said, fuck this. Then I went in. Very receptive again. So most girls are very bored and they're fun and they're happy. So it was a good interaction. She's from China. She didn't really speak any English, but she initiated on the phone to use the translator, which was a good sign. That showed that she was interested. I'm not just hovering around. So she stood up, started bantering back and forth, talking to her, found out she's in Bangkok from China until, what's today? Thursday. So until Friday, she's going out to shoot some guns, which I can resonate with because I want to shoot guns here. Didn't hide my intent. Said, I thought you were very cute. Why are you single? Or is she single? Stuff like that. So definitely not hiding intent. Very flirty. We did have plans to meet today. I don't know how likely that is. I think a lot of these numbers are flakes. Still working on that. But it's high possibility. At least I put myself in that situation. And she responded very positively. I'll send her a picture from the coffee shop today, see how the shooting's going. Maybe I can meet up with her tonight before she goes home. But she was with a group of friends too. So I didn't want to overdo it like I did the previous set where I'm pushing it too far. Nothing's going to happen. She's going home with her friends. Maybe she'll message me at 3 a.m. and say, hey, what are you doing? I don't know. Who knows? But I don't want to over escalate or push that one out. So we'll see what happens. Seems like a good, solid, I don't want to say lead, but very cute girl. Yeah, so I could already feel myself after 17 days getting more and more social. Night game was something that I avoided pretty much the entire time in Brisbane. Would do it sometimes in Mexico, but never felt super comfortable. So I'm working on that now. And I'm finding girls are very receptive. My brain is seeing that it's not that big a deal. So it's good to feel that. So I got her WeChat. So a couple of contact details. The final 3 approaches, not much happened. Saw a girl in a white dress standing next to me. I went back towards the bar area. She had like a fluffy dress. I said she looked cute like a cloud. She said thanks. She seemed kind of shy. Her friend was next to her, making out with some guy, and there was a guy next to me, and I think they were together. So maybe that's why she wasn't showing much interest. Not much I could do there. There was a girl with flowers in her hair. I said, I like the flowers. She said thanks, bowed. Busy environment. She was at a table. I probably could have pushed a little bit more, but what are you going to do? And then the final girl was all in black. Oh, yeah. She was sitting outside by herself on her phone. Very cute in black, but she was wearing like Croc flip-flops. So I teased her on that. She said thanks, went back to her phone. So I just left. Saw her again later. Looked like she was with her boyfriend or a guy and then a couple as well. So probably didn't want to talk to anybody if she's got friends that might come over and interrupt. I don't know. But very successful day, feeling much better, much more positive. Let me know in the comments if these breakdowns are helpful, if I should just keep doing the infield breakdown stuff. I know some guys are at different levels. Maybe just hearing me talk about what I was doing, what I was feeling is more beneficial. When I'm in the field, I'm just ranting or just whatever comes to mind. Very short little updates. But yeah, good night out. Was approaching the hottest girls that I could find on the street during day game. Night game, I would love to do that, but I still saw plenty of girls walk by that I thought were very hot that I would want to open, but I let the limiting beliefs take over. She's not interested. She's probably with somebody. I would not know what to say. Blah 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 blah. So that's one of the reasons why I'm going out to practice is to kill these beliefs and shut that shit up. Because most of the time, it's not true. The two girls that I talked to that were just sitting outside, I almost hesitated to go in. I said, fuck it. And then I did. And they were both very receptive. So that's part of the journey, part of the process. That's why I'm doing so many reps, because I know that's what it's going to take. Hopefully, this stuff helps inspire you guys to take that action. These girls are not going to approach you. This hot girl who is Russian Thai, got her fake tits. It's like you can see her cleavage, tight leather pants kind of stuff. Like she's not approaching me. She's got plenty of options, but at least going for it gives me the best chance of meeting her. I get to practice my flirting, show that I'm interested, show my personality. I watched a video from Owen Cook yesterday, and he says, I know a girl is never going to say, oh, you're so hot, you're so attractive, you're so good looking. He's not going to attract women like that. He's going to attract women through his vibe, his energy, his communication, the personality he shows. And that really resonated with me. Like, yeah, I'm in control of my energy, my vibe. And then I just get to be more authentic and free as I stop worrying what people think of me and just going in. So definitely some improvements yesterday. Feeling good. You can check this stuff out in the Substack. Enjoy the song after this. I don't know what I'll play yet. I'll think about that. But hopefully this stuff is helpful for you. The Substack has all these breakdowns. You can read it. You can kind of see a picture of my day, what I was thinking, all that. But yeah, let me know in the comments what's working for you. Are you guys out there taking action? Are there things that you're struggling with? Because we're all on different paths of the journey. I forget where I was and what I've learned. So sometimes I think like, oh, everybody knows this. That's not true. So let me know where you're at. Let me know what I can do to help you get to the next step, get to the next level. All right, we will end it there. Shit, I didn't even realize my laundry was going this whole video. Hopefully that's not like in the background the whole time. That's it for now. Peace.